and Zimbabwe continues to struggle to this day. The sanctions should have been lifted. The sanctions, when I was lobbying for Zimbabwe in Congress, one-on-one, the US members of Congress would tell me that, yeah, you're right. The sanctions against Zimbabwe should not continue. There is absolutely no justification as to why the sanctions would continue. But the real sad part for me, when you would see Zimbabweans coming from Zimbabwe and to the US, lobbying members of Congress and encouraging them to vote for sanctions in Zimbabwe to continue. To me, that is the real sad story of an Africa. So even if you think you want to run the country, how are you going to run the country? Do you know how difficult it is to turn the machinery of undoing a sanction on a country? And besides, are you comfortable with the manner in which your grandmother in the village is living? Are you comfortable with the conditions under which your own relatives are living in the village? That you can fly all the way to Washington and lobby for sanctions to continue against Zimbabwe. That is really sad. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, to say we are now being used as instruments of our own self-destruction because to a greater extent, sadly, too many of us are suffering from the legacy of slavery and the legacy of colonization. That is where the conversation needs to begin.
But Your Excellency, I understand when you say that, of course, Zimbabwe is in a very difficult state because of the sanctions. But looking at what you even said about Zambia, look at President Lungu. He did not look at, he considered the citizens first, 11,000 people, he chose them. Do you think President Mnangagwa would do that for Zimbabweans? Because I see a lot of Chinese are coming into Zimbabwe. You spoke about illegal mining. You spoke about a lot of things that we should not even look at. Corruption as the first. There is number 1 to number 4, which I still want you to even address. What is it from number 1 to number 4? But do you think President Mnangagwa is also doing enough to protect Zimbabweans and our minerals in Zimbabwe?
Let me tell you, Zimbabwe has been fighting for quite a while. If you look at when the land reform began, well, let me just say, we have been on the battlefield even before independence. Zimbabwe has been fighting. And then 1990, the fight was of a different nature. The sanctions, the abuses, I don't know if you are familiar with Chitungiza. There was that, I know that particular story very well. Yes. This was a textile mill that employed thousands. Are you familiar with it? In Chitungiza? Yes. That textile mill was closed overnight. Employees went to work the following day and the factory was closed. They moved and went to South Africa without notifying the employees. There was a whole lot of that sabotage. I don't know if you're aware of when a lot of the farmers during the time of land reform, they physically took actual Zim dollars out of the country in suitcases in order to sabotage the government. And the government woke up and there was actually no cash in banks because they had physically taken the cash. People would then go to the banks to try and cash their paychecks. Physically, there was no cash. I don't know if you remember when the President Mugabe then decided, because he knew the game they had played, he decided he was going